Just taking a few nice slow deep breaths, drawing the air in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Just exhaling fully. And then begin to close the mouth, taking just in and out through the nose. Begin with this clearing, deep breaths, opening ourselves as the conduit we are, this beautiful link through the spinal column, this opening through the lungs, from the soles to the crown, out to the palms, and then back to center. As we unkink the hose, we open ourselves up to be in flow, to receive, to experience, and to connect with our highest good. We just welcome that energy as our body begins to reset, to rebalance, to ground. Just a moment or two to breathe that energy in, feeling it way down deep. As we are from a distance, we also are together and close in this space as we link up through time and space to connect, to breathe, and to move. And so I invite you today just to wrap yourself in that energy, to feel that cleansing, that opening, and that opportunity that's available today to receive, to release, and to experience what is today in your body without judgment, to be aware, to observe, and to give yourself the opportunities available to come fully present for yourself today. So when you're ready, just inhale, draw the arms overhead. Palms come to touch, and then exhaling, drawing them to heart center. Nice, one more time, inhale. So wrap ourselves in this energy and exhale to the heart. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Planting our seed for today, for the week, for the connection as we engage into this deeper space within and as we connect into the universe and into all of possibility. What is it that could serve this week? How could Source show up to support you in your highest, best possible outcomes? To dip you into the pool of refreshing waters, to rejuvenate every muscle, tendon, ligament, to draw you back to alignment, back to optimism, back to acceptance, back to inspiration. Inviting that energy, that attention, and that connection. Just slowly begin to rub our hands together as we invite that energy in deeper, connecting. And while we're in this beautiful space, let's wrap ourselves in this intention today, like a burrito. As we draw the hands to the head, taking a breath in, front of the face, feel the vibrations, the warmth, feel that energy coming off of the hands into the eyes, and then up and around the head, the hair, the back of the neck, across the shoulder blades, back down the shoulder blades into the low back and the glutes, bending the knees, maybe coming all the way down as you bend the knees, wrapping around the calves to the feet, coming inside the inside of the legs, the thighs, the abs, the belly, back up to the heart, and all the way up back to the neck and the head. Allow the arms to relax to your side, just standing tall for a moment. Feeling the vibration, that subtle energy field around the body, vibrating, tingling, alive. Feel the connection, the electricity within, and the electricity all around you. As we plug into Source, we plug into Earth, we plug into this universal cosmic energy, we invite replenishing, healing, connection. And we release anything that's toxic, stagnant, anything that's keeping us stuck, clogged, less than. Just going to start by just some gentle movements. Maybe your shoulders begin to circle, maybe moving a little bit through the arms. It's kind of like you're at an elementary dance and you're just getting warmed up, kind of starting to feel the music. So just moving in the body, just slowly starting to move the arms, to bend the knees and wiggle the hips. Taking a few moments just to get into your space. You can do some twists. You can do whatever feels good. And then we're going to take this into just a little bit more movement. And it doesn't matter what the movement is, what feels good in your body as you stretch and open. You can look like 80s jazzercise. You can look like you're break dancing. You can do some hitch, some just slow movements here, looking cool for a minute until you feel a little cooler. Then you can get a little bigger. You can make the pizza. You can do whatever feels good. But take a few minutes and breathe and move in your body. And wake it up and shake it up. Imagine you're trying to shake and wake every cell of your body out of a slumber of a bear's winter, so to speak. You can look silly, nobody's watching. I can't see you. It doesn't really matter. Woo! You shake, wiggle, make sure you get the booty, make sure you get the head, make sure you get the mouth. It's okay if you feel funny, if you look funny, because I do too. We're open in the flow of energy. We just have another 30 seconds. Maybe you bounce, maybe you jiggle, maybe you dance. Put your arms up in the air and shake them, and then forward fold, let it go. We just have another 10 seconds. What can you move? What can you shake? How can you get energy into the spaces in your body that you need to get energy into? Woo, woo, woo. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Take a breath. Find your mountain. Find stillness and root to the earth. Take a breath. Allow the vibrations, the energy. We just shook up the snow globe. So feel that vibration energy all around you. Moving through the body. Gently bend the knees. Squeeze the quadriceps, squeeze the core, squeeze and pull up through the pelvic floor as you straighten the legs, standing taller, like you're being lifted up through the crown. Feel that alignment. Nice. Woo. This is living right here. Fully in flow. Congratulations. In just 5 minutes, you can take that kind of energy. You can make that kind of change. Get connected, grounded, clear, and then open yourself up to be in the flow. It's power. Nice. Inhale, draw the arms overhead. Bend the knees deeply and forward fold as you come all the way down to the ground. If the ground's too far, the hamstrings feel tight, you can always use your hands, placing them on a block or two, finding support there. Nice. When you're ready, inhale, bend the knees, take a flat spine, long spine, and then exhale, forward fold again. This time, reach back and grab your calves, maybe your ankles. Exhale the air out, compressing your upper lower body. We're gonna do 2 more just like that. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. I'm gonna use blocks here for fun. Exhale, forward fold, reach back and grab calves and pull. As you pull and forward fold, pull the belly up and in. Squeeze the belly out of the way so you can compress upper lower tighter. Halfway lift, bend the knees, flat spine. Belly is heavy, squeeze pelvic floor, belly in, forward fold. Maybe this time reach for the heels as you pull and pull and pull to lengthen the body down. Nice. Halfway to rise, inhale. Beautiful. Take a moment. We're going to slowly walk our feet back. And so without rushing, bring your hands to the mat and just begin to slowly walk your feet back like you're keeping your feet on the mat as far back as you can. We're going to work towards our high plank, our down dog, high plank energy, but we're not rushing. We're taking time to move and slowly feel the body. Your fingers are spread really wide as if you were going to make an imprint of your hand into a little, clay form for a Christmas gift to hang on a Christmas tree when you were, 4 or 5 years old for your mom. I know, we got it. Nice. Nice. From here, your heels begin to lift off the mat. Press them down gently. Feel the length in the body. Squeeze the pelvic floor in. Eyes are looking forward towards the hands. We're coming into this downward facing dog position with strength, with integrity, no pain. Feel the length through the backside of the calves, the hamstrings. Maybe you bend the knees gently if it's too tight in the back of the legs. That's cool. Squeeze the pelvic floor and the belly up and in. Don't let it hang with gravity, but pull it up, resist gravity. Yes. Engaging the core, pulling it towards the spine, finding strength to help to support the back. Take 3 breaths right here. If it feels good, you can begin to bend the knees and walk the legs out as you pedal the legs, bending one knee, straightening the left, the other, pressing into the hips, the glutes, finding that length through the side body, the hip connectors. Breathe. And come back to center when you're ready. And then we're going to find our child's pose. So take the knees out wide to the edges of the mat. Arms are going to reach forward long, hips sink back, and taking your tush towards your heels, forehead can rest to the mat. Just take 3 breaths. As you melt here, soften through the body, let it be heavy with gravity. If there's any pain in the knees, maybe the knees are closer together, maybe they're wider apart. You got to play with what feels right for your body, letting the belly be heavy with gravity. And then maybe engage the pelvic floor as you squeeze up and in, slightly engage the abs, feel the activity in this position, and then soften and release the activity, soften to the gravity, and then exhale, just melt into the earth. Take 2 more breaths right there, just like that, finding that connection and that surrendering. And then inhale, we're going to come to a tabletop. So our hands are stacked under our shoulders, our knees are stacked under our hips in a flat spine. Our eyes are looking forward or down between the hands. And then from here, begin to squeeze the belly and the pelvic floor up and in. Again, we're resisting gravity. Breathe. Yes. Pulling it up and in, really engaging through the midsection and the core. Breathing in and out through the nose. Find that nice focused breath. And then from there, tuck the toes under. As all 10 toes come to touch the mat, or maybe the pinkies are flying off if they need to. Find that space, engage the core even more. Press down through the arms, and then begin to engage the core and lift up the knees. So we're pressing into the toe beds, and we're gonna let the knees hover off the ground, maybe a couple of inches, keeping a flat spine, keeping the core engaged. Squeeze here. Engaging core just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Downward facing dog. Press back to it for a moment. Release the tension through the quadriceps and press down into the heels, the calves, the hamstrings. Beautiful. When you're ready, inhale and lift the right leg up in the air. Reach it up and back as far as you can. Imagine you're trying to touch something on the back side of the room behind you. And then bend your right knee and open the right hip, taking your fire hydrant energy here. As you open the hip, you're letting the right foot dangle in space, or you can wiggle it around for some ankle circles if you like. Stretching and deeply opening through the right side rib cage and hip, crest. And then when you're ready, we're gonna reach it back long and bring it back to the earth. Down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Reach it back, find your length in the body. Point the toe, reach, 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 lift it higher, and then bend the left knee and open through the left hip. The eyes can stay looking at the right big toe or between the hands, trying to keep the head heavy without looking up under the left armpit. Just pressing deeply, maybe wiggling left foot if it feels good, ankle circles. And then release the left leg back to the mat, down dog, take a breath. Walk your hands and feet to touch. Flat spine, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Nice. Slow and gently round up to the top. Take a breath. Feel the body, feel the breath. Beautiful. From here, we're going to step our right foot over our left. So our toes are kind of in line or close. Yep. It's kind of like you're in the store with your mom when you're little and you got to go and you're like, Mom, I got to go. Yep, that's the energy. Squeeze your thighs together, squeeze the core, pull up through the pelvic floor, keep engaged through the abdomen and through the lower legs and hips. And then slowly reach forward and hinge forward with your body. As you hinge forward, taking this down into a fold. Now, if the earth is far away, if you're tight, you can always utilize a block or maybe hold on to a chair or something. As we are here, we might stay right here if this feels good, or you can begin to lengthen and lower even deeper. If your hands are to the earth, awesome. Hang there for a moment. Engage, pull the belly up and in as you lengthen the spine, and then forward fold the head down deeply towards the ground, towards the knees. As you look towards your kneecaps, thank your knees for being strong enough to carry you through life, to give you that beautiful ability to move and connect, to adjust, to have this amazing ability to move forward in life and use these amazing limbs that we have, these legs. Maybe you spread your toes wide. And then if this feels good, you can stay here, just leaning forward, stretching and opening through that low back right hip area. Or if you want more, you can take your hands and walk them to the left side. See how that feels. Maybe as you walk your hands to the left, you begin to press your hips to the right away, taking that deep stretch. And then coming back to center when you're ready, walk your hands to the right, to the other side. Pressing your hips to the left and really feel that in the right hip. Woo! Breathe. Keep breathing in and out the nose, squeezing the core, pulling up and in, squeezing the thighs. Nice. When you're ready, we come back to center, taking a breath in. Nice. Use your hands either at your hips, or you can use them on the block or on the legs to just walk yourself back up. Engage the core for support, so it's not all pressing into the low back. Stand up tall. Take a breath. Release the legs. Come back just to your mountain pose for a moment. Feel the energy moving through the body. That swooshing of energy up into the left knee, into the right hip. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to switch sides. So now we're going to take our left leg and cross it over the right. It might feel a little tighter on this side because the other side's a little looser, because this isn't the way we did last time, and it just feels different in the body. First time you do something, it feels awkward sometimes. So check your toes, see if they're kind of close, finding that alignment across the tips of the toes, and then squeeze the thighs, pull up through the pelvic floor, engage through the abs, working Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha, finding this beautiful pelvic floor lock, squeezing up and in, and then hands at the hips, hinge forward, slowly bowing down with core engaged. Hands can come either to the ground or to the block. Find the first point of contact, long spine, press back into your glutes and your hips. Find that length through the low back. And you might pause here for 3 or 4 breaths. You don't have to completely forward fold right out of the gate. You can find this space to experience where you're at and release the muscles, the tension, the resistance. A block is a beautiful support. Lengthening your space, putting weight into your hands, taking it off of the legs for a moment. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze the core, pull in. And then lengthening, exhale, maybe there's space to fold as you begin to melt some, as you lengthen through the hamstrings and find space. Access that space with your breath by surrendering into it. Maybe pulling the belly and squeezing the core a little bit more, and then softening the head a little bit more. Let the neck just hang heavy, looking towards your kneecaps. Thank your other kneecap for being so amazing. So healthy and strong. Your patella tendon for working, for keeping this flexion extension of the body moving, this propelling forward energy. If there's space to melt deeper, getting that last little bit here in the front, really feeling that big stretch through the back of the right hamstring. Woo! Behind the kneecap, up into the mid quad posterior. And then from there, we're going to take our hands and we're going to walk them to the left. Pressing hips right, find that stretch. Feeling it into the head of the femur head, into the head of the hip, the ball and socket. Pull the belly in, bend the elbows. Maybe there's more space, maybe not. We'll come back to center with an inhale. And then exhale, walking our hands to the right side. Try and keep your legs where they are. Don't bend the knees and shimmy the hips. Keep the hips pointing forward if available. And just take the upper body and twist. Pressing hips to the left, arms walking to the right. Inhaling back to center. When you're ready, slowly we're going to engage rising up. So walking the hands up the body, finding space. Come all the way up to the top. Squeeze the thighs tight for a breath, and then release them. Mountain pose, take a breath. Feel the flow, feel the energy, feel the opening around the mid-band, the glutes and the quads and the hip flexors, all this energy. And then from here, we're going to take this into a back bend. And so if you have a block that you'd like to utilize, you can take your block, placing it right in between the thighs, and then just squeeze the block together. As we squeeze the block together, we're going to engage these muscles, engage the hip pelvic floor, and get the whole girdle working for us so that we can feel protected and safe. Hands are going to be on the low back. We're coming into this back bend. So fingertips point down, elbows go back. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the pelvic floor. Feel the pulling up in the front, and then begin to look up. Press the hips forward with the hands. Glutes are active. Squeezing that block for stability and opening into this beautiful bend. Doesn't have to be your deepest bend today. Breathe in and out the nose, small sips of air. Nice. Gently rise. Let the arms hang to your sides. Keep the block in between the legs, squeezing, finding stability and strength. You gently release the block, resting it to the ground. Hands gonna come right to the low back. We're gonna do a second set. You're not gonna have the block. It's gonna feel different. So go slow, don't force yourself. Press the hands down and into the hip, low back connection. Squeeze your buns. Maybe the legs come a little closer together this time. You don't have that block in between them. As you squeeze the legs and glutes, begin to lift up, look up. Press your hands forward, arch your spine, look up, look back. Continue squeezing the buns to protect the low back. Elbows reach back towards each other. Feel dizzy or nauseous, just look forward, don't look back. You can just look up. Squeeze the glutes, breathe. Slowly change, unravel as you lift yourself up. Inhale, release the arms to your side, Tadasana, take a moment. Nice. Bend your knees, almost like we're gonna do a squat here, just kind of bending the knees, letting the upper body be heavy. Knees come directly forward. And then feel that energy if you feel like your tush is sticking out, that kind of duck butt of sticking out. See if you can scoop it under, pulling up from the front side and then just sitting down just a little bit. Maybe the feet need to go wider, create some more space between the hips. Scooping and tucking. Nice. Press down to the heels to stand up strong. Squeeze the quads, squeeze the glutes, engage through the core. Nice. We're gonna now bring the feet together, or you can keep the feet wide if it feels good for you. We're coming into our chair pose, Utkatasana. So first we're just gonna reach the arms up. Lengthen the body and reach up, stretch up, look up perhaps. Nice. Bend the knees, continuing to look up in between the hands, bend the knees and sit back. Find a chair pose. As you sit back like you're gonna sit on the edge of a chair, or if there's a chair behind you, maybe you do touch down on it for support if that helps. You can stay right there or draw the hands to heart center if it feels good. So listen to your body. If this feels good, opening through the shoulders, feeling this beautiful stretch, that's awesome. If it's too much pressure on the shoulders, hands come to heart. Breathe. Sit into your chair, tuck the tailbone, scoop the pelvic floor, point the tailbone down, trying to like use the tailbone like a laser pointer to point it to the ground in between the feet. Just for 3, 2, and then forward fold. Hands to the heart. Pull forward. Halfway to rise. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold deeply. Grab the calves. Give yourself a little pull. Beautiful. Nice. We're going to slowly round up. Slow and steady. Press the soles down to lift up. Round the shoulders back. Draw the feet to touch. Take a breath. Close the eyes. Scan the body. Honor the flow that's happening by being aware of it. So often we rush and we push. We have so much to do. And our body just kind of spin cycle, cruise control, keeps up, does what it can. Take a moment with awareness and gratitude for the flow of energy, for the connectivity, for the strength, the flexibility, the movement, the breath, the heat, for this fire that we're building in our body. We're feeling the subtle energy field around you instead of being so busy that nothing subtle would even impact you. then it would have to be abrupt. In this space, we can optimize our connection to our energy field with our awareness of the subtle things, with our connection to our breath and our movement, with our connection to our breath and our stillness, with our connection to the energy moving through us as we are this conduit of positive and energy poles, and we are grounded and rooted, and we allow this flow to continue to move even when we're in a state of stillness through our breath, through our mindset, our awareness, our intentions, as we invite that fluid energy. Breathe. Beautiful. Turn towards the side of your mat. We're going to take this into a wide stretch as we get a little bit more opening to the legs. And so just stepping the feet far apart, giving yourself some space here. And maybe it's maybe 3/4 of your mat. Maybe it's not quite that much. Pivot the toes inward and the heels out, so you have a little pigeon toe energy. And when you do that, you kind of feel the cheeks spread apart. And I'm talking about your lower cheeks. They kind of spread apart. And you start feeling the outside quadriceps, your IT bands begin to engage. Squeeze the quadriceps, pull up and in through the muscles as you squeeze through the core and the pelvic floor. The arms can stay wide, or you can keep them on your hips if it feels better for you. And then again, we're going to bow slowly forward as we bring our chest and heart forward, pressing back through the glutes, squeezing up to the pelvic floor, the anterior front triangle, and reaching back with the tush, the hips. Slow and steady as we maybe slide our hands down the legs and take this to a forward fold. The hands can either come to the earth, to the mat, or they can stay on the calves, maybe sliding down towards the feet. If your hands are on the earth and this feels good, you can stay right here. If you want more of a stretch, just bend the elbows as you let the head lower gently down towards the mat. Squeezing the quadriceps, the big muscles on the front of the legs, helps to lengthen those hamstrings so that you can get more energy, more space, more accessibility into the body to deeply forward fold. Maybe you're coming all the way down to your elbows or forearms. If you're this far down, likelihood is you could reach your feet. So maybe reach over and grab your feet. And then you can take your forefingers and slide them around the pinky side of your foot and underneath the foot. The thumb kind of just following along, resting on the pinky toe. From here, lengthen your spine, look towards that side edge of your mat as if you were gonna sweat off of your nose and it dripped onto the ground. That's kind of where your eyes are gonna look at. Squeeze your quadriceps to lengthen your hamstrings, pull the belly in, and then bend the elbows gently. And if you have a little more space to go deeper in your body without any pain, then bend the elbows and pull, tractioning and lengthening deeper into the backside body. 3 breaths. Maybe the head is heavy at the very end once you're at your deepest point, letting the head just melt down to deepen the stretch and pull you down into gravity more. Use the arms and pull down. Continue breathing in the nose, maybe out the mouth. Squeeze the quadriceps one more time. Deepen and lengthen. Slowly bring the hands back to the mat as you press the hands down to lift the chest up. Find your long, flat spine. Beautiful. Take your hands and walk them over to the right foot. If it feels accessible here, stay here. If you're not on the ground, if you're up in space, maybe a block is good. Lift the earth further away. Maybe 2 blocks is needed to really get up here. And from there, you can take your torso and just melt it over the foot. If it feels good for you, go ahead and allow your toes to go out, to evert and point kind of out to create some space if it's too pinchy and tight there. And then forward fold over the right leg. If you got the blocks here, I'm actually taking my elbow to the blocks to help me to deepen the posture. So I have support if I need it on the hands, or I can take it to the elbows to deepen the stretch as I melt over the right leg. Inhaling, you can lift up a little bit, find space. Maybe you can stretch a little bit deeper. If you want to take this just a little bit more intense, and your hands are on the blocks for support, or you have a lot of support where you're not at the edge, don't be at the edge of the pain, but find support. Maybe flex your toes towards you and then forward fold over the right leg with your toes flexed, getting a little bit deeper into your calf and this kind of runner stretch. Again, blocks are beautiful. I love these cork blocks. They have so much support, integrity. They don't bend and wiggle. And so you can really get into it. Nice. When you're ready, go ahead and bend the knee, bring the foot back to the mat. We're gonna walk ourselves back to the center. Inhaling, long spine. Woo. Your hamstrings might be feeling it. We've been here a bit. It's okay. That's why you want the blocks. That's why you want support. When you're ready, we're going to take our hands over to the left side. So the left foot can begin to point out towards the left corner, front corner of your mat. And then again, use your blocks. Find your space. Maybe you're up tall with the blocks as you lift up. Inhale, and then exhale, fold forward over the left leg. Legs are straight still. If you need a micro bend, you can micro bend the knee, just a little snitch to create some relief there if it's too tight. Maybe you're utilizing the blocks, elbow to the block deepening. Maybe your hands are still on the blocks. Softening the torso long over the left leg. Letting the head be heavy, just exhale, soften. Inviting that long line of energy down the backside of the left leg. When you're ready, we're going to slowly inhale, halfway lift. I'm taking my blocks on my tall side, getting lots of support here. Inhaling to lift up, and then exhaling, shift your hips back, flex your left toes towards you, and then forward fold into that runner's lunge kind of energy as you bring that hamstring stretch deeper, finding the space that feels right for you in your body. So my right leg is straight, my left leg is straight, but my left toes are up in the air as I'm pressing into the heel and flexing the toes toward me, getting more deeply into my calf, Achilles, up into the hamstring, into the attachment of the glutes, bending the elbows, surrendering my head down towards the leg deeper if there's space. And then if you want, go ahead and bring the foot back to the mat, releasing the sole down and slowly coming back to center. You can use the blocks to help bring the earth closer to walk yourself in. The blocks can become an extension of your arms, kind of giving you a little bit more length and space, like go-go gadget arms, or you can release the blocks. Taking one more deep stretch forward, feet are wide. Maybe you slide your feet a little bit wider, bring the toes towards the middle, heels out, and then deeply forward fold. Find a space that feels good. Maybe you're coming down to your elbows, forearms, maybe your hands are on the calves, maybe you're using the blocks here. Once you find the deepest point, squeeze the quadriceps, lengthen the hamstrings, and then soften the heart, surrender the head. Maybe just look down or between your legs for a moment. Squeeze and pull the belly in, engage the core. As you squeeze through the pelvic floor, feel that lengthening, that opening. Nice. We're gonna come out of this just super slow, so there's not a rush. So the hands come to the ground or the block. And then from here, we're gonna slowly heel toe the feet, walk the feet closer together. As we do so, our hands are gonna slowly begin to rise up the body, supporting ourselves into our halfway lift. And then bend the knees really deep and forward fold into a ragdoll. So here we're in a forward fold. Our knees are bent deeply, and we're gonna take our pinkies into our elbow pits. Head is heavy. Bend the knees a lot, a lot, a lot. Let it stretch the low back, the lumbar, instead of the hamstrings. Stay here, or you can just slowly pivot side to side as you sway. Feel a stretch down in the middle of the hamstrings, down into the back sides of the knees. Quick water break. All right, swallowing is good, so that you can actually breathe. Whew. Nice. Once you've been there in that ragdoll, you can begin to straighten your legs and it feels good for you as we get into more of the hamstrings here just for a moment. And again, you can bring your hands to the blocks or to the ground and just sway your hips side to side. Take that stretch a little bit deeper up into the glutes and the connections of the hamstrings. Nice. All right. From here, we're going to take the hands to the mat and slowly walk our feet back to our downward facing dog just for 3 breaths. Find your down dog and see what it feels like now. Press the heels down, pull the belly in, arms are strong, fingers spread wide. Child's pose, knees wide, soften and surrender. Arms nice and long, long, long. Melt forehead to mat. Take another breath here. Nice. Slow and gently draw yourself onto your tush. Go ahead and tuck your cross your legs, bring your legs in front of you. Nice. I'm going to create more ground for myself here. And so we're going to take our legs, and you can take your legs if you're facing sideways on your mat and your legs are wide enough to reach and be on the mat on both sides, go for it. Or you can always just place one off the mat. Taking your legs, spreading them as far apart as it feels comfortable to sit up tall. Reach back and grab your glutes, and then sit up nice and tall. Take a breath. Perfect. So we have options here. Options may be to use a strap. You have one of these straps, you can use it to support yourself to get around the foot easier if you're feeling tight in the low back or hamstrings. If you have a belt strap, that's an awesome option too. I'm gonna grab the medium tension strap so I have it if I need it here. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to pivot our torso over the left leg and then just slowly begin to slide your hands down the left leg. You might not touch the left foot. If you do, it's good. That's awesome. If you don't, that's good. It's awesome. Lift up, pull the belly in, and then just slowly begin to slide your hands up and down the leg as we're kind of pulsing over the left leg. And if you'd like to, you can just take this nice slow breath here, or you can turn this into a gentle breath of fire with just a focused exhale. Inhale happens naturally, so just focusing on your exhale and just slowly sliding your legs up and down. If you can touch the foot, maybe your left foot stays on the foot and your right hand just slides up and down the leg. If you're using a strap and it's wrapping around, then you find that strap and support, and you're using it to give yourself a little bit more of a pullback on the toes on the foot, getting deeper into the hamstring calf, and just that little tiny pulsing up and down and breathing. Squeeze the core and the pelvic floor. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, switch over to the right foot. So now we're going to pivot our torso over the right leg. Inhaling to sit tall, and then exhaling, just slowly hinging over the right leg. Finding that first point of stretch resistance. Acknowledging you've already opened up the hamstrings, the glute connections, the calves a little bit. So you might feel warm, but don't push too fast, too far, too fast. So honor the body. Again, if you can reach the foot, maybe you're grabbing onto the toes or a peace finger wrapped around the big toe. And then just that little pulse as you slide the left hand up and down the quadricep, the shin, and give yourself that space to breathe and to soften into this. If you're utilizing the strap, feel free to wrap it around the foot as you use the hands to pull the strap back or the belt back, and find that deepening where it feels good for you. Keeping the right leg or the left leg extended out, this wide seat, and breathe. Keeping the abs in, the core, pelvic floor gently engaged. Not clenching, but just engaged, active, not softening and melting like a puddle on the earth. Pull the muscles up and in. Control the sex organs here with the mind, the breath, and a gentle action of the musculature. Breathe. Nice. We just have about 5 breaths left, so find a little deeper space if there's there for you. Inhale, we're going to come back to center. Nice. Exhale, we're going to use our breath, and we're going to go left, center, right. So our inhale is going to be center. So we inhale at center, we exhale sliding over left. Inhale to center, exhale over right. Inhale, exhale. Again, if your hamstrings are really open and you have space, maybe you're grabbing the feet and your torso is moving, but your arms are staying on the feet. Maybe not. If you need to use a strap, maybe you got a strap on each foot. You're holding the strap with one hand on each foot, and you're just going back and forth with your torso to lengthen over the body. What feels good and right for you? How can you access this posture with integrity instead of rushing through it? Can you be so in key with your breath in this simple movement that you can have awareness in how it feels in your hamstrings? What about your low back? What about your arms? What about your toes? Can you have an awareness of what it feels like at your shoulders, in your neck? Continuing this movement at the pace that feels good and right for you. The inhale coming at center, the exhale down the leg. Just a few more. Maybe taking the chin and reaching the chin towards the toe helps you to lengthen the spine to bring the torso down further. 3, 2, and 1. Balance yourself out. Come back to center. Sit up tall. And then we're going to walk our hands forward. As we walk our hands forward, maybe this is enough, just letting your hands walk forward. Maybe you can grab onto the front edge of your mat if you need a little support there to pull yourself deeper. My hands are kind of walking up into the carpet. I have a stair in front of me here in my tiny house, so I'm going to grab the stair, and I'm just going to pull myself forward, 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 flexing my toes toward my body to press and lengthen the back of my legs. Pull the business up and in. You got to really engage the pelvic floor so it's not stopping. You pull up and in, reach the arms forward until you no longer can go forward, and then let the head be heavy. Let the head just rest all the way down. Feel a stretch in the back of the neck. Keep flexing toes towards you. Keep engaging the belly, the pelvic floor, slight energy. Soften the head. Nice. When you're ready, gently walk the hands back up. Sit tall here for a moment. Feel the energy moving down the spine, all the way coming down to your seat. Feel the connection of your organs to the earth, of your perineum, of the glutes. As you soften through the pelvic floor for just a moment, feel that contact, connectivity. And then feel the ease with which you can engage the muscles, pulling them right back up into that space of strength and integrity. When you're ready, you're going to draw the feet together. Taking the soles together into our butterfly pose. And then you can pull the feet as close to you as it feels good, or take them as far away as it feels good. Again, you can always use a strap here if that works for you as you wrap it under the feet. Maybe pulling a little bit more. You can wrap your hands under the feet. You can take a hand towel or a strap and wrap it around if it feels good to bind your feet together. Otherwise, gently press the feet together. Sit up tall. Maybe rock side to side, a little massage through the glutes, the attachments up into the hamstrings. And then we're going to slowly hinge forward, forward, fold. This might feel good. This might feel intense at your low back. Feel pinching in the hip or the groin. Go ahead and sit back up tall. Press the feet more. Draw attention to the feet away from the upper leg attachment and down into the soles. Pull the pelvic floor in and then hinge forward again to find more space and accessibility in the hip crease. If this feels good, you can stay here. If this is intense for your low back, you might even have a pillow or a bolster underneath your chest between your feet and your body, or a block. Or you can let the head be heavy and begin to melt into the space that's available to you with a heavy head, arching the spine, softening. If you bring your feet close to you, you might not be able to go as far, but if you take your feet a little further away from you as you walk them forward, you might find there's more space to melt into. Again, this is all just an experiment of what feels good in your body. You feel more opening through your low back, feeling this kind of brittle, tight area along the sacrum and the base of the spine opening as you soften and melt gently. And then we'll slowly come back up. Before we release the legs totally, access one of your feet. I'm going for the left first, just because it's what happened. And then take your hands and pull each of your 10 toes. So we're going to do one foot, pulling the toes, bending them, maybe taking the toes and spreading them apart. If you've ever had a massage, you know how they spread your fingers apart. We're doing the same thing with the toes, creating some space between the metatarsals, opening through these digits and creating some flow, taking some of the stress out of our feet from all the walking and all the carrying and standing they do, traveling. Maybe you wiggle the big toe around, which the big toe is great because the big toe in reflexology is all about the head and the neck. So if you're an overthinker, maybe you need to massage your big toe a little bit more, give it some love. Maybe kind of poke around at it or give it some little jostling. And then you can take the hands and just slowly massage the sole of your foot. If it feels good with your hands, you can use your fists and just kind of little tapotement, little pound it if it feels good. What feels good there to open? And then if you take your thumb, your right thumb, and place it into the soft point at the heel. So not the back or the bottom of the heel, but the soft point right where the Achilles tendon comes. So between your ankle bone, your side of your ankle, inside ankle bone and your heel, bring your thumb and press it right into the gap in between there. It feels a little bit soft. There's a little indent, might be tender. And just take your thumb and maybe 5 or 6 times, just kind of rub your thumb around in a little circle, right in that midpoint. So if you take your fingers and you put one on the ankle and one on the heel, right in the middle is where your thumb is going to press. And you're just going to take some little circles. If you want to turn the volume up on this opening of the Achilles and the calf and that whole lower leg, then you can take your middle finger and wrap it around and point on the exact same point on the outside of the ankle. So you're hitting both the inside and outside of the ankle with your thumb and your middle finger. And then you can just kind of press into it with your fingers, or you can hold the points on the front, on the left and right side of the inside ankle and move your foot. So you're kind of creating this little squeeze with your fingers and this little axis pinning the muscles, the attachments of our Achilles. And then we're just getting some opening. And this is one of my favorite things to do to open my lower legs when they get tight. It's great for circulation if you're traveling, flying, all that stuff. Open energy through the foot. It's going to help your gait, your balance, your walking, flexibility. Nice. All right, we love both sides. So we're going to switch sides if you need to, if you haven't already. So we're going to grab the right foot and pull the toes. Give them a little love. So it's all about circulation. We got to open the complete body. Pull the toes apart one by one, just creating some space. So I'm grabbing my big toe, my pinky toe, my second toe, my third toe, my fourth toe, my fifth toe. I'm just giving them a little pull, creating more space. Then I'm going to come to my big toe. And my left hand's just grab my big toe and I'm going to just move it around, jostle it, jiggle it a little bit here, twist it, bend it, massage across the side, maybe squeeze a little bit around the toenail as you squeeze the toenail and find that little energy, and then working the hands up the inside of the arch of the foot, maybe onto the big mound of the foot. As you press underneath the big mound of the foot, opening this energy. This is all the reproductive energy in the body is right here on the inside of the foot. So kind of just working the fingers up there, massaging the pad of the foot underneath each of the toes, metatarsals, the arch, walking your fingers, your thumbs up the foot to the middle of the foot. That's a kidney acupoint, great for this beautiful opening of the low backs. So you can just take your thumb, press it right in between the middle of the sole of the foot for a moment. And then we're going to take our left thumb. We're going to take the left thumb right to the soft spot in between the ankle and the heel. So take the fingers, put one on the ankle, one on the heel, and right in the middle, we're going to use our thumb, pressing the thumb gently in, just taking some little circles as you press the thumb in like you're trying to make a really deep thumbprint into that soft spot. And this again, opening through our Achilles, our calf. This is magical. And then if you want more, you can take the hand and wrap it around. Middle finger is going to press on the outside at the same point. And again, you can pen and hold there and just move the foot, or you can continue just pulsing and moving middle finger and thumb there to get that movement. That's circulation. If you like the flexing of the toes while you hold those points, you can really feel that deeply as you press down towards the heel, opening. Just a little bit more love here. So finding space to move and love whatever needs it on your leg, your foot. Nice. And then we're going to take the legs out long, taking just a moment to find your back. If you have a block you want to use, you can. We're going to lay on our backs. And then we're going to take our legs up into the air for our leg up a wall pose. And so this might be it. If you want more, your hands can come underneath your low back. You can sit on your hands if you don't have a block. This is going to help to also not just elevate your hips to get this blood flow coming back to the heart completely from the legs for circulatory reasons, but this is also going to help to spread the energy in the wrist. So we're compressing the flexors and the extensors and getting this nice deep pin and stretch in the wrist muscles, working through our metacarpals and opening through the wrist connectors. Lots of muscles in the hands and the wrist. So this feels really lovely. And you can just bend the knees as much as you need to keep them up in the air. If your hamstrings are tight, you might not have your feet up quite as high. Maybe you're pressing your toes towards you as you flex your heels, straightening the legs and feeling that there. And then if you're straightening the legs out, but the legs are still kind of coming down a little bit because your hamstrings feel tight, pull your pelvic floor and belly in and see if you can lift them up just a little bit more. So as you pull the belly down and up and in towards the heart center, we create some space to be able to lift the legs even more so. Sometimes just the physical presence of our little belly bumps creates a little bit of resistance there. And so we have to pull it in and get it out of the way to be able to pull up and actually elevate our legs all the way up, getting that deep opening in the hamstring and getting this beautiful flush of oxygenated energy all the way down into the soles when we release this. So we just have about 4 or 5 breaths more here. Again, you can have a block under your low back if you don't want to sit on your hands. It's fun when sometimes in yoga you feel like you're doing nothing. And really sometimes that's when the most beneficial things are happening for you. Like in legs up the wall pose, or in Shavasana, or in your last breath or two in a long, slow, deep opening of a posture where you finally surrender and your mind finally gives up, throws in the towel and says, okay, I'll just be here, not worried about what's next. Give yourself a moment just to melt here, just to surrender to what is right here. If there's pain, tension happening, and you need to bend your knees a little bit, you can bend your knees, bring them back towards you. Try not to let the feet be really heavy because that's working more into the abs. And right now we're not trying to workhorse the abs. We just want to get this beautiful gravity and flush in the body. Maybe you take some ankle circles. Maybe you just close your eyes and breathe. Nice. When you're ready, we're going to lift the hips up, release the hands, and then just pull the knees down as you squeeze your knees into your chest. A little hug and love. Feels good. You can rock side to side, massaging across the low back, the sacrum. Nice. When you're ready, draw the feet down to the mat. We're going to take the hands and bring the hands behind the head. Slide down a little bit, so make sure all the way on. Perfect. Hands behind the head. You can either interlace your hands behind your head, or you can just take your hands and just gently rest them behind the head as you touch back behind the ears. The soles are on the ground. Bring your feet closer towards you, like you're setting up for a bridge, even though we're not quite setting up for a bridge here. Nice. Just soften for a moment. Nice. Pull the belly in, squeeze your muscles in towards the center of your body. You can even feel the legs kind of squeezing, pinching in towards the center. As you pull the belly in, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze your bowl of light. So you're going to feel this pulling in of the entire abdominal area. It's like this, big chiseled cut glass bowl that happens from the iliac bowl, the hips, all the way up into the space underneath the rib cage. And so that whole space is pulling in, kind of like you're, finding that space to lift the entire abdomen and kind of hold up that energy with the engagement of your pelvic floor muscles, squeezing through the abdominal lock, and then mentally pulling in and up. Feel that kind of energy right there. Without even doing a bunch of crunches or anything crazy, you can feel the integrity of your bowl. Maybe you lift your tush off and squeeze that bowl and then set it back down. Feel that energy. Just taking a moment to squeeze and pull that energy with integrity. Nice. Now we're going to keep that same engaged energy with integrity, and we are going to just gently take these little crunches. So we're going to just elevate upper body, looking straight up for 10, 9, just the shoulder blades raise up. You don't have to come all the way up and touch the knees. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can stay right here with the feet down, or if you'd like, you can lift the feet off the earth to 90 degrees, flexing toes or pointing them, and we're still pulsing up. We got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can continue pulsing with the legs here at 90, or you can slowly extend your right leg out long. Nice. And then back up. And then left leg out long, and then crunch up. Exhale, right leg extends. Inhale, crunch up. Left leg extends, crunching up. Right leg, left leg. Right leg, extend, squeeze left leg. Nice, we got 4. 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, and 1. Nice. Take your legs, lift them all the way up in the air. Woo! Pull your belly down in. Feel your low back root to the mat. Connected. Strong. Squeeze the bowl of light. Bend the knees gently if you need to. No big deal. You can stay right here with your hands behind your head, or you can take your hands and reach them up in the air. And we're just going to slowly reach up, little tiny crunches, trying to work like we're going to touch our toes. We're just going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So you're lifting up just enough that maybe you're kind of mid-back where like your bra strap would be, ladies, is lifting off the mat. You're not really touching your toes and going all the way, but you're just getting that little lift. Nice. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you want to, we're going to take this a little bit more. So we're going to lift up another inch higher, and we're also going to lift our hips up. So working on that same pulse, lifting up both feet and hands. Squeeze, squeeze, up, 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 up. Feeling that in the low belly. Nice. Keep going. Don't quit. Up, 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 up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees in. Squeeze them. Love them. Thank them. And then maybe a little wiggle side to side. Feels good. Nice. Release your feet down to the mat. Take a breath. The knees can rest gently together. Feels good. Feel your belly, your low belly. Feel those muscles. Woken up, engaged, fired up. Putting a little fire in our bowl. That's kind of how we started today. Fire in our bowl with the sage, burning away. Squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze the knees together. Find that bowl energy. Nice. Gently release the legs long. Just soften for a moment. Let them go long. Melt. Nice. Bring the soles back to the mat. Take your right leg and lift it up in the air. And then cross the right leg over the left. The left foot's still on the ground. So we're coming into this figure 4 stretch as you press the right knee down and away. This might be awesome. This might be enough. You can stay right here. This is great. Pressing the right knee away from the belly button and opening through the right hip. If you feel any pinching underneath the glute into piriformis, be kind here. This can be deep if you have any kind of glute piriformis tension or compression. If you want more, you can always lift the left leg up. As you lift the left leg up in the air, you're pulling the left knee back towards you, which is going to pull the foot towards you, and you're still pushing the right knee away. So maybe this is good for you. If it feels right, you'd like, you can always interlace your hands underneath the left hamstring to help pull the left knee in, which deepens that stretch as you take your right knee away. Find what works. Another option with this would be, if you had a strap, would be to take the strap behind the leg and just use it to give yourself that gentle pull back as you press the knee away. Or maybe left hand is pulling the knee back and right hand is pushing the knee away. So we're finding that traction, what feels good. Just another moment here. When you're ready, take the left foot, bring it back to the mat. Hands to the mat. Walk your foot towards your tush, and then we're going to press our left heel down and lift our hips up. So this is going to be a variation of a bridge pose, still taking the right knee down and away. So as we press down the right knee, lift up the hips, we find a little more space. Your hands can even grab the tush and hoist it up for support if you need here, or you can put a block under there. And we're just taking the right knee down and opening a little bit more. Find that space, and then release your right leg up, and then bring it down. Both feet press down to lift low back up into your little bridge. It's not your deep bridge, but it's just a little bridge. Feel the buns, feel the ischial tuberosities, those attachment points of our hamstrings up into the glute. Woo. And then soften it back down. We're going to take our left leg up in the air, cross the left leg over the right. Take the left knee away, 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 away. Give it away now. Nice. Stay here for 3 or 4 breaths before you lift up the right leg. Find the first point of resistance, that little energy. Maybe you can feel it in the hip crease if it's tight. Press the left knee away from the belly button. And then if you want more, you can begin to lift the right knee up, pulling the right knee towards the head, taking the left knee away from you. Or you can take the hands and interlace them behind the right hamstring as you pull the right knee in with more energy and press the left knee down energetically. If that energetic pressing of the left knee is not enough, then you can always use your left hand and gently press on the knee. Again, we're not trying to find pain, we're trying to find resistance. Resistance can create space. As we activate muscles with resistance, we build strength. We also open the opposite muscle group. So we're getting this beautiful pressing and abduction as we pull the knee up and in. And then as we press it down and away, we're getting this beautiful opening deep into that hip press, finding space. Here, you can stay here if this feels good, or you can begin to straighten the right leg up in the air just for a moment. And maybe pulling there feels good, working your hands up to your calves if you got the deepening in that stretch. Woo. When you're ready, the right foot's going to come back to the mat. As you press the right foot down, we're going to take the hands to the mat for support and lift the hips up and lift the left knee up, and then press the left knee down and away. Again, hands under hips can help lift, or you can take a block under there if it feels good. Just take a moment, left knee away from belly button. And when you're ready, left leg's going to reach up, lift up, and then bring it down. Both feet to the mat. Bridge pose, press the heels down, lift the hips up. Squeeze your buns, squeeze your anterior pelvic floor up and in. Feel the lift as you press your sex organs up into the air more. Nice. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and soften down. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles together, knees wide. That butterfly of the lower body. And then you can just take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close the eyes, take a breath. You can walk your feet as far away from your torso as it feels comfortable, finding that nice opening stretch through the inside thigh and groin. Sometimes the feet close to you isn't actually the stretch that you really benefit from as much. Sometimes it's the walking the feet down and away from the body that lets you access more of the deep medial insertions of these inside hip groin muscles. From here, we're going to bring the feet back to the mat, but take them wide and just take a windshield wiper. So taking the knees to the left side, and then the knees to the right side, and the knees to the left, and the knees to the right. Let's do one more each side. Nice. From here, we are actually going to make our way onto our belly. So you can either just roll onto your belly, or you can take your hands behind your knees and rock and roll on the spine, if you prefer, until you come up to your seat, crossing at the ankles, and then releasing the legs back behind you. Now, I'm primarily doing that because I love the way it works on my spine to get that nice massage on my spine, but also I want my head to face this direction. So win-win. All right, all the way down onto the belly. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're setting up for our low cobra. So zip up your legs, press the tops of the feet down. As your feet press down, hands come under the shoulders, and then squeeze your elbows in towards the body like they're grasshopper legs, nice and tight. They're not poking out wide to hit anyone next to you. They're squeezing in. Nice. Press the feet down, exhale the air out. And then inhale to squeeze your chest and lift and rise your heart maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. Keep pressing the legs down, the big toes pressing down, the quads pressing down, the feet pressing down. Find that space. The lower body is heavy and the upper body begins to rise. There's a little bit of weight in the hands. They're kind of hanging out there. You're not going to make a deep impression with your hand into the clay this time. It's just going to be a gentle light one. Squeeze and lift for 3, 2, and then lower down. Take a breath. Put your right ear down, arms to your side. Completely melt and see if you can open and soften through your sacrum and your low back. Get some energy moving through this whole area of your upper glutes and low back while you just breathe and melt for a moment. Nice. Hands come back into the shoulders, setting up for a second cobra. Zip up your legs, press your feet down, exhale the air out. Squeeze the thighs together, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze your business, press your hips and your business down, and then gently rise your heart, your chest. Maybe this time the hands are lighter. Maybe they're not on the ground touching. As you squeeze the elbows in, press the feet down to lift. Squeeze the buns. Feel the energy to the low back, lifting the heart, lifting the eyes, maybe forward directly for 3, 2, and then lower down. We'll look to the right side, left ear on the mat, arms to your side, melt. Nice. Hands come back to the mat. We're setting up for our Sphinx. So our arms are going to be on the ground, forearms down, palms face down, elbows underneath the shoulders, hands in front of the elbows, 6 inches apart. Feet can go a little further apart this time. So my feet are maybe about 12 inches apart. Tops of feet on the ground. Press the elbows down and in as you drag the chest up and forward, and feel that lengthening again at the low back. So the space in the lumbar from the sacrum up through the bottom 3 or 4 vertebrae of the spine are getting a really deep compression, this pinching energy kind of, as we drag our heart forward, chest forward, and we're stretching through the front side of our hips, our low belly, abs, lifting our heart, and then softening into our lower body, and breathe. This is great for when you're seated all day long. We're stretching out these muscles that are always in flexion. So this is an extension for your trunk, an extension for your hips, your abs. This is one of the most magical postures when you're in a seated position for hours and hours and hours a day. Interesting when you're a kid and you're watching TV as a kid laying on the carpet. This is usually how you're sitting, but usually you have your head rested on your hands, but you're usually on your belly looking up at the TV, right? Playing in this position. As we get older, this is a position we kind of tend to avoid, but we need. See what happens when you let your legs be a little heavier, softening. Maybe you feel the sensation change or intensify into your low back. You can stay right here. This is awesome. If you want, and it's not painful, you want a little bit more energy, spread your fingers wide, press down through your hands to lengthen your arms as you lift your torso up with your arms long. The hands are not right under you like a chaturanga. They're out in front of you, and maybe even out wide to the corners of your mat for stability. And then breathe. Breathing energy and life, deepening this beautiful stretch through the front of the body, and then really deepening this compression through the lumbar and the low back. Ease and flow is going to happen in the low back when we come out of this, so don't worry about it. Just breathe. One more nice deep breath. Slowly lower all the way back down to the belly. Looking to the left, the right ear down, arms to your side, or you can let the head rest on the hands underneath if you want. And then just soften for a moment. Without movement, try to find stillness and just feel and observe your body. Can you feel that heavy brick of energy at the low back? Feels a little dense maybe. Feel a light open quality through the belly and the hips. Let's distribute that energy by bending the knees and taking our feet and just windshield wipering them side to side. Moving energy across the belly, hips, low back, a little bit of opening. Nice, you can release the feet back to the earth. And then take the hands to the mat. We're gonna press the hands and lift up. Make your way onto your shins. So we're gonna draw the knees together and sit the hips back. Sit up tall for a moment. We're coming into an embryo posture. So we're gonna now take this from the extension into our forward fold, this kind of roly-poly energy. I personally love to have a block or a bolster underneath my chest as I round forward. It kind of gives me some support so my spine can feel supported and opening instead of just like hanging off a cliff. Now, you may find that same or similar energy if you just take your hands and rest your hands underneath you. Your arms kind of create that speed bump of energy into the belly, or you can let your hands reach back behind you, whatever feels good for you. We're just going to lift up tall and then lengthen and fold forward over the body. Letting the head be heavy. Again, a bolster makes it not so deep in my body. I feel it more in my low back and my hips right here than I would up in my shoulder blades. If there's no bolster or block, then as we lower all the way down, we get more of a deep compression into the upper neck and body too, along with the low back. So whatever feels good to access, go ahead. If your hands are reaching back, they might just press down. If you want to play with this, don't look around. Keep your head neutral, looking between your legs, but slowly begin to lift your tush up in the air an inch. Squeeze your pelvic floor and your abs in, and then set them down. Nice. Once more, squeeze pelvic floor and lift hips up. Press the tops of the hands down into the earth if they're touching, and a little bit of lengthening and lifting and lightness, and then soften and melt. Everything is heavy. One more time. If it feels right for you, the rabbit pose is the full expression of this, and you can reach back for the heels, cupping the heels, taking this into a deeper extension when you're ready. Elevate, squeeze pelvic floor, lift hips, floating. Stay right there, or maybe use the hands to gently pull the heels as you arch the spine. Up, up, up. Big extension, opening the low back, and then softening back to the earth. Hands pressed down. As you gently rise the head, take a breath. Whew, sit tall. Beautiful. Our last big deep posture before we take some gentle stretching and wrap up is going to be our camel pose. And so I'm going to take the block once again, just like we did standing, and press it in between my thighs. That's going to stabilize my low back. Some people will also take a block and place it in between their knees for that same kind of energy, or you can take it in between your knees and not between your thighs. What feels good and right for you. Hands to low back. Before you deep into this camel, go ahead and take a moment and feel your low back. Can you feel the energy in the low back from that energy work we just did in the last extension flexion postures? So maybe you feel that energy. Nice. Press the hands forward into the low back, squeeze the buns, press your hips forward, press the elbows back, look up, breathe, in and out the nose. Continue small breaths in and out the nose, not holding the breath. Keep the flow of energy and let the head be heavy as you look up, maybe look back. Pressing the hips forward with the hands, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the block. Open maybe the throat. Open the mouth, breathe. Squeeze, open. Inhale, gently rise. Take a breath. We're going to slowly release the blocks. And then find child's pose. So knees wide. I'm going to take my bolster and I'm going to put it right in between, because I'm going to actually go over the bolster and let my chest melt down, my head melt down onto this pillow or bolster. That's an option, feel free. Otherwise, the earth is right there for you, and just soften. Anytime you put more support between you and the earth, more points of contact between you and the ground, between you, your physical body, and your support, it increases the comfort level often. It also increases our safety level. And not just our physical safety, safe in the posture, but our emotional and energetic safety. It soothes the nervous system to feel supported. It's one of the reasons a hug feels so good and replenishing, and why hugs are very healthy for the emotional body. And so simply having a pillow between you and the earth isn't making the posture easier or weaker for you. It's making the posture more emotionally impactful, more supported and stable, feeling that ease and that safety, like you're being held, because you are. So try to soften just for a moment, melt. If you are looking one direction, go ahead and change directions. If you're in your child's pose with your forehead down, you can stay neutral in the middle. Softening just for another breath. Surrender to the earth. Allow it to hold you. Nice. We're going to come back to center when you're ready. Drawing the hands to the earth as you press down to lift up. Releasing your pillow or bolster if you used it. And then find yourself into your seat. Maybe it's on a block, maybe it's on the pillow. If you had a few more minutes, maybe a gentle supine twist and opening would be nice, or even a long banana asana to open the side body. We're going to wrap up here, keeping ourselves on schedule. Just drawing all of our opening back into the seat, into our connection to the earth through our hips, onto the block or the cushion or the mat. Our hands maybe resting gently on one another into this cosmic mudra, left hand on top, right, thumbs to connect. Or maybe you have your thumb and pointer finger together as you take your Gaya mudra and sit up tall through the spine, letting the hands rest on the knees or thighs. Gently closing the eyes, dipping the chin downward as if you're looking in front of you on the ground, but your eyes are closed. And then take a few nice, slow, deep breaths. Maybe exhaling first out of the mouth to let go. And then squeezing the pelvic floor, the abdominal lock, closing the mouth, breathing in and out through the nose. Think of all of the beautiful opening that's happened in these last 90 minutes or so for your body. Stretch, the space, the breath, your awareness and how it shifted and changed to create a flow, a connection, to be part of the process and the journey that's happening within you, instead of just a passenger being chauffeured around. That you've become part of this experience, this awareness, your breath, your body, your alignment, your engagement, squeezing and activating through your bowl of light to hold the energy, breathing and drawing it up through the chakras into the upper body and out into the universe. Feel that beautiful cleansing, opening energy happening all around your subtle field. The vibrations outside your arms, your hands. Feel the connective strength through your low back, through your seat at your base chakra. Feeling grounded and rooted, aware, connected, and present with yourself. Coming back to the seed you planted, to your intention, your thought, your best, highest possible good. As we close our practice today, we open ourselves to practice with each moment of this day, our awareness, our breath, our attention to being present, eyeball to eyeball with whoever's in front of us, with ears listening, with a heart open, connected. Aware with our surroundings, with nature. With every inhale and exhale, inviting gratitude and the healing white light energy into every cell of our body. That white light coming in and moving through the body, breaking through stagnation, blockages, dis-ease, slicing them apart and just creating less resistance within the flow of light and energy through our bodies, and more ease and flow into the joy, the liberation, the peace and healing that we crave. As we feel supported by more contact with the earth, we feel infinitely more supported with more awareness, more intention with our breath, with our flow, with our energy. So we invite this in as we draw our hands together, beginning to feel the warmth, the friction, invite this beautiful ease and flow into every cell as we wrap ourselves up, drawing the hands to the forehead, cloaking ourselves in this light, in this intention and awareness, up and around the head, down the neck, the shoulders, down the back, shoulder blades, the low back and the glutes, the legs, wrapping ourselves up the midline, the chest, the heart center, the neck, the throat. Take 2 more times. Just wrap yourself, cloak yourself in this awareness, this connection. When we move through life, that our attention comes back to how we can be more connected, aware, and open and flow. Less judging, less rushing, more present, more willing, more listening. Drawing hands to heart center. Gratitude for being present, for being open, for dipping ourselves in the flow of possibility into this healing white light energy and into our higher selves, as we can open, connect, and move with ease in our physical body, in our energy body, in our emotions, feeling supported by the earth, feeling connected to one another, and feeling open to receive our highest and best possible sources, resources, and connections through this experience. So for this and much more, drawing the hands to the third eye. The divine in me bows and honors the divine in you, and we're in this space, we're the same, we're one. Namaste. Have a beautiful, blessed day. May you linger in the essence and energy, the results of your experience this morning. Till next time.